Hi, it's time for book club. I'm C.M. Vasquez, author of The Birdcage Society Falling, the first in an ongoing psychological mystery series. Today I'm going to be talking about Chapter 9 of Darkly Dreaming Dexter. This chapter starts off with Dexter waking up in a cold sweat. His bed is completely wet, covered in sweat. He's disoriented and confused and decides to go and wash the sweat off of his hands. Dexter was dreaming about the prostitute killer again. Dexter dreamt that he was out there with him, searching for his next victim. And it was almost as if this man's dark passenger was calling out to Dexter's. When Dexter turns on the faucet in the bathroom, in his disoriented state, he sees the water run red, as if it's spurting blood. He tries closing his eyes in the hopes that this hallucination will dissipate, but for a few seconds it only makes things worse, and Dexter is back in that dream. When he opens his eyes again, all is right. The water is crystal clear. Dexter's reflection is normal, if a bit bedraggled, but he finds himself wondering again, why is he having such vivid and unrelenting dreams? And now hallucinations. Dexter admits that this has never happened, and as the reader, I find myself wondering the same thing. Why this killer? What's so special about this man that Dexter relates to him so immensely? He contemplates that he might be going insane, that he may have been slowly slipping into madness for a few years, but there was no way to know for sure, as he can't exactly go see a shrink about it. So, with little else to do, Dexter sets out on the road, searching in a similar way to his dream for what he wasn't sure. But at the same time, he was completely sure that he would find whatever it was. He spots a refrigerated truck passing a known hooker area, and although he notes that this isn't necessarily out of the ordinary, because trucks like this are all over Miami, even this late at night, he still decides to follow the truck anyway. As you do, of course, because what are the odds, right? At least I would think so. Even though he just mentioned that there are trucks all over the city, I think for context in the story, I would follow the truck too. Dexter follows at a steady pace at first, maneuvering through traffic and staying behind the truck. But then the truck starts doubling back, and Dexter is forced to speed after him. The truck crests a hill and then appears to disappear. The behavior of this truck suggests, for me at least, that either he knew he was being followed, or he's indecisive about his destination and potential victim. But you have to admit, the driver's behavior at this point is pretty suspicious. Dexter stops his car and closes his eyes, hoping some remnant of the dream will pop back up and give him direction. But he just ends up feeling stupid. It's not like he's psychic, he's tired, and he just sent himself on what feels like a wild goose chase. Until he sees the truck speed out of a gas station, throw something at Dexter's car, and jump the truck over a raising bridge over the bay. Dexter ducks out of view, of course, so as not to be seen, but it seems like my suspicions were confirmed that the truck driver knew he was being followed when it's revealed that what he threw at Dexter's car, and what made a sizable dent, was actually the severed head of a woman. Dexter is all smiles at this point when he discovers this, not only because there's a clean cut on the neck, but it turns out he wasn't crazy, and he didn't just choose some random guy to go after. I have to wonder, though, did the killer just decide to throw the head at whoever was following him? Or does he know that Dexter is part of the investigation? Because it does seem strange that he would just throw the head out the window. But if so, how does he know? Has he been watching the crime scenes? I guess we'll find out. Probably not next chapter though, but the severed head does mark the end of this one. I was happy to find that the cliffhanger from last chapter was addressed in this chapter, and that we weren't left hanging. I'm excited to go over the next chapter on Friday. See you then.